Welcome to the Business Development Podcast, brought to you by the Global Business Development Association, delivering the strategies and tactics to boost your career and corporate growth.
Hello, BD Pros, and welcome to the Global Business Development Association's podcast called What is Business Development? And today, you're probably wondering, what is artificial intelligence agents? Agentive AI. What is that? You probably heard about it, and you're probably also wondering, hey, how can I use agentive AI to do business development? Well, today we have a fantastic guest who can walk us through the state of the art in BD AI. And Usman Sheikh is our guest today. He's a visionary founder and CEO. As a futurist and a design thinker, Usman's goal is to humanize B2B sales and marketing by harnessing the power of generative AI and psychology. Usman held various global roles at SAP, including Vice President of Corporate Development, Product Management, Sales Enablement, and Digital Commerce. He also founded and led Unit International, a business and technology consultancy based in Washington, D.C. And Usman may tease something he's been in stealth mode working for the past several months. So I can't wait to hear him share a little bit about what the latest, most exciting thing he has to reveal to the audience today. So, Usman, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you so much for having me here.
Oh, this is great having you. And now, Usman, you have your finger on the pulse of artificial intelligence and tools for business developers to exponentially enable their capabilities. Tell us a little bit about what is the current state of AI as it relates to business development?
Yeah, great question. So let me just give you a little bit of background on myself as well. So in addition to my previous work at SAP and my new stealth startup that I'm starting, I counted that I've actually worked on 5 major enterprise class B2B sales and buyer systems. So when I was at SAP, I used to be product manager for supplier relationship management, which is on the buy side. And then while at SAP, I also built their online demand generation marketplace, which is on the sell side. Since that, I left, started my companies like XIQ, for example, and that was a first incarnation of a sell side platform which had AI embedded in it to help you understand the mindset of your prospective buyers. So where we are today, and which is the reason why I'm launching my new company, Agentive, is that we're at the start of a very interesting era of automation handled through AI. And if you look at, since ChatGPT came out about 2 years almost ago, how has AI evolved? So if you think about it, the first thing was that we had to master or learn how to do prompt engineering, be able to write questions to ask the engine to give us, the AI to give us some response. And it was very important how you frame that question to get the right response. Well, we've evolved and we are now at the agentic stage. And the agentic stage are these autonomous bots, AI bots, that can go and fetch information which they've been asked to do. They're somewhat autonomous. And what we are entering and what we're starting to realize is that whereas agentic is a very important part of the equation, it is not the end solution. And by the end solution, I look at the concept of agentive, which is these different bots or agents working in unison to actually help you produce outcomes. So instead of being a task-oriented bot, which is mimicking human behavior to a certain extent, flip it around horizontally to make it a set of different bots that are working towards an outcome, a process, such as a sale or closing a deal or qualifying a prospect. So we're entering that phase of AI evolution, where we go beyond agents and we start stringing them together with a much more results and outcome focused approach. And that is what is the meaning of the word agentive, which is the ability to produce results. And that is the name of my next venture, which we're launching soon.
Okay, great. Well, folks, if you're listening, we will have a link to Agentive in the show notes shortly after release. So you'll be able to click on that link, visit Usman's website for Agentive, and be able to explore some of the capabilities, because it really is tailor-made for business developers. And I think this is a very interesting concept right now. We are in the era of agentive AI. As of the date of recording this podcast, I believe OpenAI announced that they released their agent solution to users. So I'm excited to use that myself. And I've waited patiently as I've seen so many different AI tools out there that are specific to unique tasks, whether it's creating video, doing a social media post, or things like that. I wanted to just wait and see when we would get to this common agent that could handle multiple tasks if you train it properly, like you would an intern or any employee that works in your company, to be able to conduct certain functions. Now, all of that is dependent on you understanding what you want the agent to do. The agent is only as smart as what you tell it, the outcome you want to create. So if you lack context, then so does the AI. It will just simply conduct the task and probably fall short of what you're trying to accomplish. And that's why it's really important to understand that there is, now that we're in the era of agents, it's agentive orchestration, being able to orchestrate multiple agents all operating in unison and achieving the outcomes that you want to achieve. And you can wait all you want and probably craft your own AI agents to do every go-to-market motion for your company, or you can focus on one solution that's purpose-built for orchestration of multiple agents to do that at scale and not have to cobble together an entire BD tech stack on your own, which has been the case for decades now. You've had to build these various systems and attach them with APIs and hooks and everything else and automations. And then if one thing changes, then it has a cascading effect through everything, which is just one big nightmare. And so Usman, my question for you, and hopefully this is a positive outcome. Business developers traditionally despise CRM solutions. Not any particular company. It's just the whole concept of a CRM, that you have to constantly feed the beast of, okay, I just finished a call. Let me enter my notes. Okay, how is the deal moving through the pipeline? And it's very labor intensive, a lot of input with very little output, I think. It's garbage in, garbage out. So if you don't insert high fidelity data, then the outputs you get from it are relatively limited. Is there finally a light at the end of the tunnel for all business developers to say that there will not be a CRM moving into the future? Would you agree with that?
So I think there will be a CRM functionality, but it will not be the be all and end all. And that's where I think that we need to be very careful in defining what is the intent of a CRM system. Because if you take it out of context of what it is, then it is a very disastrous outcome, right? So the concept is to be able to manage and forecast my pipeline, to have one single system where I can enter or have records to manage what my company or what I'm doing in my accounts. That's the purpose. It's not a tool that is designed to help me sell or discover new opportunities or forge new relationship with people. It doesn't allow me to do that. And when it starts traversing into that particular threshold, it starts to fall flat and people become frustrated. And that's when other tools start coming in, because everybody says, my holy grail is my CRM system, and thou shalt only speak to my holy grail, otherwise nothing happens. And that's a wrong philosophy behind it. The CRM needs to be nested within the idea of my business growth and revenue generation. Second thing, what you mentioned, which was a big pain point, was fidelity of data and being able to find it and enter it, right? And again, my job as a salesperson is not to be a researcher finding out good quality data and entering it into a CRM system. Today, agentic does that for me. My agents do that. And you're absolutely right. We as business developers don't need to become agentic programmers. Solutions like Agentive, which is the platform we are releasing, have taken those typical questions or even some of the more complex questions and made it pre-packaged it. So for example, the context you were referring to for sales and for what you're going to do in the B2B sales environment.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So what you were experiencing in the B2B sales environment was sorry, I lost my train of thought with that little.
No. Let me actually. That's a good pause right there, because I would like to pull the thread a little bit more, make sure I understand what you're saying. What you're saying is, look, CRM will not go away as a function in and of itself, as a technology concept. You will always have a baseline database of where all your deals are, and you'll be able to, enter the data, but it will be that the data entry will be automated. It's the extraction of the data and understanding where you are in real time to be able to see your dashboards of the status of the pipeline and deals moving through the pipeline. That won't be necessarily an interaction directly with a CRM tool per se. It will be an interaction with your AI that where you just simply say in common language, hey, where are all the deals for this division or the entire company? And give me the latest pipeline status. And I think what you're saying also is and this is where you are going with your solution is, which I can't wait to get there, is the AI tool that tells you, hey, Tony, here's your ICP. I found these opportunities. Here are the leads. Here are the accounts. Here are the buy signals. Here are the triggers. I've done all that very labor intensive research for you. And here's the outbound engagement sequence. And and eventually I would love it to also record my discussions with my prospects and do all of that data entry for me. I think if we could get to that point, that would be nirvana for all business developers. Let's remove the labor intensive, zero value or low value task and let us focus on what we do best, which is talking to other humans. So Usman, please show us a little bit of nirvana here. I think you have some screen sharing. You can kind of show us in advance of the official release. If you could go ahead and share your screen, we'd love to see a little bit about the solution.
Yeah, certainly. I am just in the process of doing that.
Sure.
And are you able to see my screen now?
Not yet. I can see, yes, I can see your screen. There we go. I'm bringing it up to, there we are. Oh boy. Here we go.
Okay, so again, let me just put this into context. So there are a couple of things that you were saying, that where do I get started, right? And if I don't have the right context, then how do I maintain my focus and the right set of information? So one of the core things in sales is knowing your ideal customer profile. And that's where Agentive starts. And it's kind of surprising, Tony, as to how many people in sales and marketing don't really know what their ideal customer profile is. It's a very evasive thing. So one of the first things that Agentive does in context of how we're going to help you go through all this heavy listing is that we start by signing you up. And when you sign up, you go give two sets of information. One is what your company is, and second, what is your personal URL. So let me give you a little bit of overview of what Agentive does. So Agentive is a AI-powered revenue automation platform. So what it does is it focuses on your ideal customer profile. And based on your ideal customer profile, it goes into a matchmaking mode. It goes and finds out which company you work for, what are the solutions and services that you have to offer, and finds opportunities based on your ideal customer profile. And based on that, it starts putting out and executing a complete sales strategy for you. So, first thing, as I said, it does is it starts, even if you don't know what your ICP is, based on the fact that it realizes what your company is, it can go pick up information and present to you what your ideal customer profiles would be. What would be those industries? What would be potential focus areas, revenue, and so on. And right off the bat, I can see these are somewhat interesting, and I can go into accepting an ICP. I can also craft my ICP. I can simply enter my own terms. Or, very interestingly enough, I can also write out what a particular ICP would be. So, for example, find me companies that are in this dollar revenue range, have so many employees working for them, but also having layoffs, for example, or in a merger and acquisition mode, and so on. So I can write out those, or of course, I can enter companies in here by name and start finding it. At this point, Agentive goes into work. It starts going out and it starts finding in its scout program, based on the ICPs that you have identified, the ideal customer profile, it finds different companies and different opportunities. So here, for large financial institutions, for this particular company, it has found 16 different companies that match the ICP bill. And then within each of these companies, it has the ability to create and give me more details on the opportunity. So right off the bat, within seconds of me entering Agentive, I have been able to identify what could be prospective clients. I want to know a little bit more about this opportunity, and I can go click into that, and I can see that there's a scalability of customer support operations project that's potentially available for my company. What are some of the key value drivers, current needs? It's all here. I can even go a little bit further, and that complete account strategy is presented to me, including, as we were saying, what are the solutions, top strengths, what would a sales play look like, what would be my strategy, what could I sell in there. And then here it has also started to find potential people, individuals that I could send to, those buyer committee members. A deep analysis gives me a SWOT. But here's something very interesting. It starts to find out what are some of the challenges my prospect has, what is it costing them, which one of my solutions can I sell. And I just want to highlight something, Tony, over here. A lot of times as business developers and salespeople, when we go into a prospecting opportunity, we are only aware of the solutions that we are comfortable selling. But our portfolio might have tens or hundreds more solutions we don't know about. And that's a problem that is solved by agentive AI, because the agent knows your entire portfolio of solutions. And therefore, it can match, in this particular case, travelers' insurance challenges and priorities against your entire solution portfolio. And this is an important point to highlight. The reason is because as a human who knows only part of my portfolio, I will always go and try to force fit those solutions into a particular client. But with AI, I've now opened up my entire solution portfolio to be able to find a much more compatible solution for my customers' actual priorities and challenges. Another big time consuming area is finding out who are the people that will be involved in a buying decision. And I can go in, and the agentive platform recommends these are people that would be responsible for making those decisions. These are the key stakeholders. I can even click into one of these individuals. And now it starts doing a lot more detailed insight analysis on that individual. So from a persona perspective, the behavioral mindset perspective says Trevor is a driver personality. These are some of the key traits. What we need to know about uh, uh, the what are some of his key goals, objectives, motivations, why I should connect, how I should earn trust. Again, all of this information is here. And when I start writing or composing some sort of communication, it will leverage into this corpus of information about this individual, these deep down analysis, which have connected the dots about this persona and this person, and allow me to write a highly personalized email. And again, I go in, I can add this opportunity to my list. And here is where that CRM function now comes into the process. And I can go in, and this is where the CRM, it is showing me these are the different opportunities that are lying that I have to follow up on, and allows me to move my opportunities across, shows me what is my weighted pipeline, unweighted pipeline. And it's good for every seller to know what their rolling pipeline is, because that's what happened. We reach cliffs when we are focused on a couple of deals and closing those deals. We close those deals, we forget about building the pipe. If I have an agentive agent working for me and recommending new solutions, new opportunities for me, I can continuously build my pipeline. So here's my pipeline function, and this is how I function on a daily basis. As a salesperson, I come in, and now my agentive platform is actually working for me. And what it's doing is it's recommending today who are the people I need to connect with, what are certain new opportunities. These are opportunities in that funnel I saw that have been aging. And I can read up about these, go into opportunity details. I can also see that there are new opportunities that are coming up. Or, for example, an email that I need to send out today. It's already been composed. And remember what we were showing about the person and the details on the person. That's been taken into account. This is highly personalized email that's written around a particular opportunity. So a lot of the heavy lifting that is required to put a very professional email together has been done by Agentive. And what we're doing is we're coming into a validation and a review mode. I can, of course, make it more professional. I can make it friendlier. I can rewrite it, and then I can send it from right here as well. And this, my agentive feed, then starts becoming my go-to place to work. And this is where every day my 24/7 agentive team comes and helps me by suggesting new solutions, new people to meet, and helping me write emails to those individuals and so on. And of course, there is an automated bot. Tell me a joke, for example, bad thing to write out about, and this little bot will actually work just like a generative AI bot and answer any question. And we call that bot Mojo in agentive terms. So I took a lot of your time in kind of explaining the platform.
That's great. That's great.
Hopefully
Usman.
it made some sense.
Everything you just told me is music to my ears. You're giving mojo to business developers. That's agentive AI that enables us to increase our efficiency without doing the labor intensive functions. If I were to calculate everything you just showed me in total hours expended to do that level of research and crafting those emails, that would be hours upon hours of administrative function that is relatively low value. What you're doing is you're enabling the human on the loop, not the human in the loop, but the human on the loop to say, okay, I like what you wrote. I like that ICP target. I like that person you're engaging today. I like 90% of what you wrote. I'm going to change this, that, and whatnot. And boom, send it out. That's my email to that contact. Okay, great. I have talking points for my cold call or my warm call intro to another prospect. All of these functions are very labor intensive, and you are removing those. It's music to my ears. I'm sure it's music to a lot of the business developers' ears who are listening to this. By the way, I enjoyed the soundtrack you have in the background. Sounds like you're doing a lot of work in your lab there, ready for product launch. Is that right?
Sorry, yeah, there are some people
No.
that were unfortunately going in and out of the room over here.
Don't worry about it. Sounds like people are already lining up in line to buy the product, if you ask me. So this is a good thing. This is a good thing. No, it's Usman, you're a busy man, and you just gave us a hint of what the future looks like. And folks, it's coming faster than you know. This is moving exponentially. So you really have to keep your finger on the pulse. Follow folks like Usman. Usman, how can people follow your work? I know you're on LinkedIn, you're very prolific in engaging with the community, but what's the best way for folks to track you and your upcoming release?
Yeah. So on LinkedIn is the best. So I'm Usman Sheikh in stealth mode for the time being. The name of the company is Agentive on LinkedIn as well. Please follow us. A lot of exciting things are happening. And you're right, there are some interesting people and companies lining up for and helping us build out Agentive as we speak.
Yeah, well, it can't come soon enough as far as I'm concerned, Usman. So I'm eager to hear you launch the product and see everything in full operational mode here soon. I'm sure a lot of other business developers are, but thank you for joining us here today. And thank you for everything you do for the business development community with your solution, Usman.
Tony, thank you so much for having me on your show.
Thank you for listening to the Business Development Podcast. Join our free community of corporate partners and business development professionals advancing the art, science, and ethics of the business development profession at gbdassociation.org.